Okay, welcome back, everybody. Uh, I I'm gonna try to be brief on this one too. Um, you know, it's just 'cause it's quiet now and I can actually hear myself think. Well, this next movie review I've been meaning to do for a while. 'Cause I owned this movie a few years ago on DVD, but unfortunately, one of my former coworkers at a previous job borrowed that original DVD of this movie that I had, and then she never bothered to give it back to me. And then that former coworker quit the job that she and I was working at the time before I left that job myself, and I could get the DVD back from her. I just recently got this movie back in my collection in the last couple of weeks, and I have since watched it on my DVD player so I could do this movie review on it. The main reason why I wanted to do this movie in my DVD collection is because I think that Brandon Fraser is handsome, and I've always enjoyed looking at him. To be honest, Brandon Fraser has been in a few really tripping movies, including Monkey Bone, which this movie review is going to be about. And yeah, when I initially bought my first DVD of this movie, Monkey Bone, and I watched it at home, I thought it's a darn good thing I did not pay a whole lot for this DVD. This movie is lame, and I wouldn't have paid like $6 or $7 a person for Tony and I to have seen this movie in the theater. As I mentioned previously, that first DVD has long since disappeared, and I've never seen it again. I just got a new copy of it, also on the cheap, from Amazon.com, and I have to say I would not even buy it new because the movie is not worth buying new unless you are really hard up to do so. The movie Monkey Bone is based on a graphic novel called Dark Town by Kaja Blackley, and if I'm mispronouncing his first name, it's not intentional. The movie involves Brandon Fraser as a character named Stu Miley, who suffered from nightmares and is in love with a doctor named Jolie McElroy, played by Bridget Fonda. What's happening is that Stu and Dr. Jolie are at a party for Stu's comic strip, which is being made into a cartoon TV show at the beginning of the movie, and it's happening in the near future. Well, as Stu and Dr. Jolie are leaving the party in Stu's car, there's a horrible accident where an inflatable version of the character Monkey Bone is accidentally inflated as Stu is trying to back up his car and leave the party, and the inflated Monkey Bone, causes Stu to wreck and get himself whacked on the head by a falling pipe onto the car's roof. Stu wakes up and he's on a rickety roller coaster ride heading towards a place which turns out to be called Downtown, which is a carnival-like place filled with people, mythical creatures, and figments of people's imaginations, where people watch other people's nightmares as entertainment. As a real twist to everything, in Downtown, Monkey Bone is real, where in the real world, at the beginning of the movie, Monkey Bone is just a cartoon character. While Stu is in this limbo of Downtown, he becomes friendly with a cat girl named Miss Kitty, and I'm talking like, not, don't think cat girl like as in Batman and Robin. We're talking like as in, she's like half cat, half human, kind of thing. After a while, Stu learns from Hypnos, the god of sleep, via a nightmare that Dr. Jolie has one night that Stu happens to be seeing with Hypnos that Kimmy is about to pull the plug on Stu's body, which means that Stu has been in a coma for about 3 months at that point. Because at one point, Stu's sister, Kimmy, asks, how long it'd be, and the doctor tells her, well, it'll be about 3 months. So the 3 months has passed. Stu asks Hypno for help, at which point Hypnos tells Stu that in order for Stu to get back to the world of the living, the Stu has to go down to the land of death, still what's called an exit pass from death that allows coma victims to wake up from their comas and go back to the land of the living. Stu goes to the land of death, faces down death, and to steal the exit pass from death, which death is played to just a high level of hysterics by Whoopi Goldberg, who I wish would make more movies and get off The View and do stuff I know she's good at. Then Stu returns back up to Downtown to return to the land of the living. When Stu arrives back in downtown to use the exit pass to wake up with the help of the Revivo machine, Monkeybone steals the exit pass from Stu, jumps on the Revivo, and Monkeybone ends up waking up in Stu's body right as the doctor starts to pull the plug on Stu's body. When, right when Monkeybone jumps on the Revivo, though, Hypnos tells Stu that it has been Hypnos' plan to steal Stu's body, give people nightmares to fuel further entertainment in downtown. Once Monkeybone wakes up in Stu's body, all kinds of hilarity ensues, but I'm not going to reveal what happens because I want to talk about what I think of the movie at this point, other than what I've already said at the beginning of this video. For starters, the movie is corny, and it's something that guys would probably like more than girls anyway. It's just, like, what it is, it's kind of like male humor that, like, teenage boys would like. For example, like, farting and, food fights and, that kind of stuff. But then, like, an older guy might like it because they have, like, what's called a comatini in one part, and they're, like, sitting there in bumper cars and everything, and it's like, they're talking about the fact that, people are in comas. And that one guy, I think his name is David Hayden Christensen. He plays Death's assistant, but it's uncredited. He's in the movie. Whoopi. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's like, she's like the only good part of the movie other than, Brandon Fraiser. I mean, Bridget Fonda's okay to look at, but I absolutely think Whoopi is hysterical. I mean, just because, she makes any movie better. Whoopi does. And like I said before, I wish Whoopi would go make some more movies just because, I would watch it. I mean, she's one person who, if I was to get told that she was making another movie, just as long as it doesn't have Mel Gibson in it, I would probably go watch it. I'm still on the Mel Gibson ban, because, and since today is Ash Wednesday, and it's, a big day for Catholics, I would suggest, that Michael Gibson, I don't know why I'm thinking that, Mel Gibson would, think about stuff during the Lenten season. Not to sound malicious, but, I think he just needs to learn to keep his mouth shut and keep his, there are certain times, and I've said it before in another video on my main page, I wish Mel Gibson would keep his mouth shut. But that aside, anyway, back to Monkeybone. I mean, I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. It's like, I halfway like it just because Mel Gibson, I don't think so. Whoopi's in it, and Brandon Fraser's in it, and I happen to like both of them, and I think they're hilarious. And, the interaction between the two of them is just trippin' funny. And that's, like, the part that I liked the best about it, and that was, like, the only redeeming quality. And, it's like, an ending, the ending part is also, it's funny. The ending is funny. And I gotta tell you, Chris Kattan is in this movie. And it's a Saturday Night Live kind of movie too, and that's part of the reason why it's, like a teenage boy kind of thing. Because it's like, like I'd say like a 21, 22-year-old, 21 to 22-year-old guy's kind of fantasy too. So, I mean, if you're like, I'd say like 15 years old and older and you're a guy, you'd probably like this movie. A girl might, because like Miss Kitty is a decent character, and Brandon's, character before, like, his body gets took over by Monkeybone is, he's just, like the kind of guy I would like to just, if I wasn't married, I wouldn't mind hanging out with a kind of guy like that, because he's just very artistic and just, this completely sweet kind of fella, and, he just, I'm like, really, I wouldn't mind hanging out with him. Well, anyway, I'm going to pause here because I got a couple more videos to shoot, alright? So thanks for watching, and hang on.